Hey everyone, Honest Hughie here, and I'm going to do a review of Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. That was like a proper lot to say, and I've just got to say that before I get into the review, I've been gone a while. I say I've been gone a while. It's been like about a month, maybe nearly 2 months since I've made a video, and it's because I've started a new job, so it's full time as well, and it's exactly what I wanted. To be honest with you, it's much better than the other jobs I've been doing lately. Not that I didn't enjoy them, but they just weren't for me. Like this is totally like for me. And I get to wear a suit, so well, shirt and tie, but still, it's a step up in the career ladder, which is what I've been wanting for a long time. So that's just a quick disclaimer before I start this video. Is things are starting to look up, which is good, and hopefully that's the same for a lot of people watching. Hopefully things are looking up for all you as well. Um, it seems like it's going to be quite a good year this year. Obviously, dependent. And starting of stuff that was good this year. Speaking of, um, Doctor Strange, I've got to say I was impressed. Um, it was good actually. Actually, it was more than good. It was really good. I'll get into a few things of the movie. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but there's stuff you could class as a spoiler, but I won't get into it now. If that makes sense, like I'll warn you, like the villain. Um, I had a feeling like the villain was going to be who it was, but I didn't realise. Well, actually, no, I knew. And a lot of people, I'll just say it now. A lot of people will know who the villain is if you've watched the Disney Plus spin-offs. I won't say which one in particular, but if you've watched like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the One Division, if you've watched Loki. Loki just sort of ties in the multiverse a little bit more, especially What If. If you get confused with this multiverse, because it's a lot, because there's a lot of confusing things happening. If you do, sorry, this game's going on forever. I've got a cinematic playing in this game. It's rubbish. It's Call of Duty. It's terrible. I'm just spamming through it to get trophies, and it's going on forever. And pretty much it's like if you're confused on the multiverse, like I was saying, watch What If. At first, it is a bit confusing, but the end of it makes it all makes more sense to me now. Like going in and watching this was like, yeah. So like I say, I'll get into the bits I liked about the movie. Benedict Cumberbatch, as per, awesome. Doctor Strange, I've got to say, is one of my favourite characters because he just pops up in them now, especially after Spider-Man. Not No Way Home. Not Far From Home. The last one, Away. I don't know what it was, but Spider-Man. I think it was Far From Home, wasn't it? Or was it No Way Home? Might be No Way Home because that makes more sense. I thought he was brilliant in that. I thought he did a fantastic job of being the one where he's the one, um, like sort of saying the stuff that needs to happen, like, oh, this is the stakes, this is what we need to do, they need to go back and die, the villains. And obviously he's the level-headed one. So in this scene, a movie about him is even better. And he introduced Miss Marvel. She's in it straight away, so it's not a spoiler. And she is just as good. She's like really good. Another pizza-loving character. And she's class. Like every time she does a multiverse thing, her thing is stars. And I didn't know much about Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel. On that note, I didn't know much about her either. But it was cool seeing what they did with her. She didn't just know to use her powers. She had to learn throughout the movie, so it was like a character build. But the main person in this movie you know a lot about, and it builds on obviously is Doctor Strange. And it's mainly his, like, there's some really good scenes like with his guilt, like giving Thanos his time stone. Like people who he's running into are questioning him about it. Like, you just gave him it. Like, yeah, he knew that outcome, but it was one out of 1,000 or something. He said. Um, we know why he did it, but he's still like, oh god. And then obviously there's the relationship with his girlfriend, or well, not girlfriend, his ex. There's that, which is brilliant. I think it's class. Like, that's actually one I buy. When sometimes I feel shoehorned in, and it's just it's a bit of drama. This you buy because it actually makes sense. Why it doesn't work. There's a saying in it. I don't know if it's in the first one or not. I think it. Well, I think she did say it in the first one, but she says, you know, you're always holding a knife, and it sort of comes up in the movie later on. He doesn't hold a knife or anything, but it comes up later on as a metaphor. Now I'm gonna get into the bits that were a bit like, don't get me wrong. Before this, the CGI was spot on. The look of it, awesome. Where they took the movie was great. The villain, fantastic. Villain was really good. I'm now going to say who the villain was, just so no, I won't say who the villain is just yet. Actually, not yet. But yeah, the fight scenes were great. I watched like the first fight scene, and it was class. It was awesome. Like, you know, there's the bits I'm going to get into that I don't like. But first, I'm going to start like getting. Actually, no. Now I'm going to get in the bits I don't like. Yeah, the bits I didn't like about the movie. Aren't major things, but the things that I thought would have been much better. Like, say, the story itself was great. The character development was great. Showing his guilt and showing how people react with him was good. Like, he goes into a universe, a multiverse even. Goes in one where he was the villain in it. And it's not the one out the trailer. There's one where he's seen as a villain. Like, people like the public and I think he's a hero. But they introduce a certain. I'll say who's in it. There's a certain on the nose thing that's in the movie, which is what I'm going to get into next. I'll say who they are. This is where it could be spoilery, but it's not major spoiler. But it just takes away a little bit of ooh. I'll say now. This could be spoiler stuff I get into now, but not major. Illuminati's in it, and I didn't know what the Illuminati is. I just thought Illuminati. So obviously I was like, oh god, and it's obviously it's got a few people in. I won't say who, but it's got like they see him as a villain. So when he's trying to say about the threat that could wipe out the world, and they're not taking him seriously because they think he's that threat that could wipe out the world. And in all fairness, this is where it links into. This is where you want to watch a What If. Especially the Strange one, the Doctor Strange What If. Even if you skip a few and watch that, that's fine. It's not going to spoil anything else. Just watch that one before you go into this movie, because there's a certain one that comes in and it shows what happens to Doctor Strange when the roles are a bit different. Like, for instance, the episode of What If is if his girlfriend, I forgot the name, if she died in a car crash and he lived, but he didn't break any bones or anything. She just died. He didn't get what he's got. Where is it Parkinson's? It's a bit like Parkinson's, isn't it? Where you can't stop shaking. He didn't get that, and he had the time stone, kept going back trying to save her. And it's one of them traditional, you know, you can't stop her sort of thing. You have to let her die, and it sort of shows him going mad. And this movie missed out. This is the bad bit. Missed out a bit with that because it felt rushed. Like, there was a fight between him and an evil version of himself. This evil version of himself has all these monsters. I'll just say, all these monsters in, like dragons and serpents, and you can just spawn anything. And instead of that, it's a cool fight sequence, but the fact he gets defeated through the sequence is a bit. But I can see why, because the movie was going on a bit. They have like a music fight where he hits the piano and all the notes fly at him, and then obviously the band Doctor Strange hits was it like drums or something, and then it goes, and it is quite cool, the sound, but when you're watching it, it's tiny little notes hitting and it just doesn't look right. And another thing I'm going to get into is the killing off characters again. Yes, the multiverse, yeah, I get that they're just putting them in there for Easter eggs, but the killing off ones that they could do spin-offs on, like, I'm going to say Peggy's in it, but this is the What If stuff. She is Captain America in this, in the universe where they don't like Doctor Strange, think he's a threat, blah blah blah. Even though I don't see why he would stand in front of them with cuffs on and have already killed him. Anyhow, and he's got a red cape. Like, the evil one has a black cape and the evil one had a blue. Like, he had red, and that's the good Strange. Everyone knows that. But what happens is there's a fight. I'll say who the villain is in this. I won't say who the villain is actually. I don't need to say who the villain is. But the villain comes, all hell breaks loose. She fights all these new characters that have been introduced, and it's very like they just die. All of them die. And I was very disappointed because it was just like you've killed off. Like, don't get me wrong, there was some I didn't even know to care about. There's a certain singer in it. I didn't know who he was. Everyone cheered in the movies, and I was like, I don't know who he is. There was a singer who played Fantastic Four. Is it Mr. Fantastic? Mr. Stretch. That's it. Reese, I think Professor Reese or something. Played him, and he was quite a good actor actually, surprisingly. There was obviously their version of Captain Marvel. I knew she was going to die because obviously two Captain Marvel, yeah, but they just killed them off. Like I get the main villain was powerful. I'll say she. That's the only hint you're going to get. She's really powerful, right? You don't know who it is. She's on the really front cover of the poster. But I'm not going to say it just in case. She really like rips them apart. And there's a certain one who's new in it, and he can shout, and it's like absolutely obliterates people by his voice. And because she has magic, she like makes his mouth go, and then you see it, and his head splats. Right? It is toned down because it's 12A, but it's like it's quite grim. And it's like I was sort of like I'd rather her of as much as it was cool to see her absolutely obliterate them and kill them, and the deaths were grim, and it was quite brutal, and it was quite refreshing to see in a Marvel thing, because that's what I kind of want them to go to, is the comic style where there's just no holdbacks, like people just die. I get that, but if you're going to do that, do it. And the problem is, Marvel won't do it. They'll back out. Like, they'll kill characters off, and I'm guessing they'll bring them back. You know, like they didn't really justify killing Natalie off. I didn't think Black Widow. I didn't think her death was justified in Endgame. I didn't think at that moment didn't mean anything. Like you know, if Hawkeye died, I would have been, sad. If Cap sacrificed himself for the gem, I would have been sad. If anyone else but her, probably would have been sad. Even if it was not Iron Man, what's his name? His friend who is in the silver Iron Man suit. I'm very bad with names. If it was him, I would have felt Rhodey, that's it, Rhodey. I would have felt sad. Hell, if it was even happy. But it's like her out of everyone, like I didn't really care about at that time. And then they just released Black Widow, and it sort of makes you care for her. And then all of a sudden, she's just like vanished out. You know what I mean? Apart from prequels, she's but we don't know where they're going to go with this. Speaking of Illuminati, like I said, they get killed, all of them, and Peggy dies in it, and it's just rushed and very meh. And because I'll let you know the main bit I didn't really quite like, and I think a lot of great like that was me nitpicky. I can roll with that. Was the ending? The ending was very like this villain. You don't know what about, but she is very powerful. She gets what she wants. She gets her powers. She gets everything. She has a whole shrine, and she just absorbs, and she's very powerful, and she's there. She's got what she wanted, and to show her something, and it's like I wasn't buying it. It's traditional. Oh, look what I've done. But whatever, this thing has. It's not her who's doing it. Something's possessed her, and that's why I wasn't buying it, because whatever's possessed her, she hasn't defeated yet. Didn't show her defeat it. We had a brief scene where we seen her trapped, and that was quite a bit of a bull scene as well, a bit scene that annoyed me and it annoyed a lot of people. You'll know more what I'm on about once you watch the movie. But pretty much the ending is a bit, oh, that's it. Oh, really? I'm not buying that. Bit like Black Widow's ending, where it was the perfume thing, where you're like, I'm not buying that. You're like, really? Like, I'd be alright, I can't smell half the time anywhere. I'd have him. And it's like with this, it's like there's a certain theme going for this film that I get when we say villain. When you put aside what's possessed this person, the person we actually care about and feel for. Again, that's another one if she went for the stone. But hey, she's been in all the other movies, so it's a great character build. But it's just one of the things where I was just like, really, really, that's that. Like she literally to show her what she wants, and she still goes, "Oh, what have I done?" Instead of like all the way throughout the movie, she's just been going at it. I mean, killing everyone, families, kids, like even kids. Like the main character is a kid herself, Miss Marvel. Like she's in her 20s. She's younger, I think, in this. And she kills her. Like she needs to kill her to get the power. I don't know. Oh yeah, so she can already go through the universes, but she can't properly do it yet. But she can absorb her power, and then she could go through them all, and pretty much destroy everything. Bit like what Vision would do if, not Vision, Ultron wanted to do, which is just obliterate the universes until he got peace and quiet, which is what he wanted. And then even then, he still wanted to go and obliterate everything. But yeah, like I say, other than that, it's a great movie. Sam Raimi is just fantastic. It was nice seeing him writing a movie again, and it was great having the guy out of Evil Dead in it. There's a little cameo on a hot dog stand. He's class. And just stick around for the end credits because it's worth it right at the end. Stick around for the ending. It's worth it. But yeah, so that's my review on Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I do think one thing I'm going to say before this video ends. It would have benefited a bit more. It was brutal, but it would have benefited a bit more it being upped a bit. So it being a 15. I think when I seen the age rating originally, it's going to be a 15, but you can see they've cut little bits out. Like, don't get me wrong, don't hold back. I think the only reason it's not a 15 is because there's no swearing in it. That's my thinking. If there's a swear word in it or a sex scene, this definitely would be a 15. But because it's just the violence and it's not, like, it is gory, but it's not full on gore. It's definitely darker, and I hope to go down this route more because this is what you want from Marvel, like what they did with Daredevil. Punisher, you know, who would love to see that on the big screen? That would be amazing. So yeah, that's my review on Doctor Strange, and I enjoyed it. Feel free to go and watch it, and really, I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. Like, you know, like I say, the only thing is the ending's a bit, and you feel really bad for Wong. He gets done so dirty in this movie. Oh, he's so underused, but it's so good because he's powerful. But obviously, this villain is just like I say, the ending for it was a bit, but it looks like they've left it open too. Well, they've definitely left it open. Hopefully, there is going to be Benedict Cumberbatch in the Disney series. I hope so. Like a Doctor Strange bit. It seems like that's what they're going down. I know they're doing a Miss Marvel. I'm hoping he's in it. And I'd be very happy because he's done shows before, Benedict Cumberbatch, and he's like one of my favourite actors. I just think he's awesome. Like, he can play a detective. He can be in a movie that's boring, and I'll enjoy it because I do like him. So, yeah, like I say, feel free to give it a watch. Also, I've just watched a show on Amazon called Reacher, Jack Reacher. And I just want to say before this ends, I recommend it. Watch it. It's brilliant. Just roll with it as well. It's a bit slow, but it's great. Anyway, that's me. I'm going to end this video. Go down to movies and watch it. I watched this on opening night. And like I say, it wasn't too full, surprisingly. But like I say, it was great. It was awesome. Bruce Campbell, that's his name. The one out of Evil Dead and the other Spider-Man's Bruce Campbell. How can I forget his name? He's in it. And he's a hot dog guy. Right, I'll see you in the next video. And I'll try and upload a bit more frequently, but we'll see. Haha, bye. Bye.